everybody. It's the Rob from Kiss 106 and 103gbfrocks.com. Alongside my tag team partner in podcasting, please welcome to the show the world's second most recognizable athlete on the planet. Please say hello to Mr. Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jerry.
Second only to Muhammad Ali. All right, Rob. Now let's see it. Every single time we do a podcast, you wear a new wrestling shirt because you bought a ton of wrestling shirts for like 30 cents a piece, and I cannot wait to see what we have in store today. Let's unveil it.
I forget if this one was $2.99 or $3.99, but it was worth every penny because
I'm a Hanukkah guy.
I'm a Hanukkah guy.
I love it.
It's just everyone's been asking me about this shirt this morning. Like, I didn't know you were Jewish, and I'm like, it's Hirschbiel. Of course, I'm Jewish.
Well, fun fact, and I think you know this because I'd said this to you before. I thought you were Jewish for the longest time because Hirschbiel just sounded like a Jewish name to me.
Oh, well, thank you. I take it as a compliment.
I'm a Hanukkah guy. Now, because your shirt in a roundabout way references Paul Heyman, does that mean you're going to cry like family members died in a bus accident? Holy smokes.
You know, I didn't know what to take from that. Did you like that? Did you not like that? I almost called that the episode today, but I chose something different.
I was very conflicted. A lot like there are these new sneakers I saw this morning, cereal sneakers. I saw them, and I was conflicted because they made me very happy to see them. Like the Cinnamon Toast Crunch basketball shoes made me happy, but I don't like them. And there was something that I wouldn't wear them. That's ridiculous. Same thing with the Paul Heyman skit last night because he does it, and I mean it's Academy Award stuff. He's doing a really great job. It's just too much of an emotion that's not. Nobody would cry like that.
I guess that's maybe. I think you may. While I don't get the shoe reference, I think that's exactly the way I felt about the promo, in that it was really well acted, but it was more than what was needed. It was just too much. What
he wanted to do, he did perfectly, and what they wanted was amazing. But it's just like you acted like your dad died. Like, I mean, like, that's how I look when my dad dies. That's not how I look when Brock Lesnar gets mad at me and doesn't take my phone calls anymore.
It was just way over the top.
Too over the top. The only thing that to take from it, and the best part of the whole thing, was at the very end when he says, Roman Reigns versus this Brock Lesnar doesn't stand a chance. And like, I liked that. That was great. But I didn't need like the whole time, Evan's like, why is his eyes so red? Why are his eyes red? And I was like, he's crying or high. I don't know.
Hey, listen, he's from ECW, man. It could be either one.
It was a good segment, but again, I thought, just like you said, way too much for the situation.
I had this thought last week. I didn't say it on the show. I kind of meant to. I thought they may have been setting Heyman up for a face turn, which they still may be. I'm not positive. I feel like if they do a face turn, they may want to put her with Rousey.
See, that would be great. I wonder if we're going to see Heyman and Reigns. Like, I keep wondering if that's where we're headed.
That's a cool idea too.
A cool idea, and it wouldn't be absolutely terrible either.
Yeah, you know what? And it's weird. Everything with Reigns, I'm getting a whole lot of weird signals about Reigns because, like, I don't know. I feel like the right ending to this story is Reigns winning the title. I don't want to make it sound like I want him to win the title, but I feel like this is the time. The time is now, and he's the right guy for this spot. Like, it just the only answer that makes sense is Reigns winning on Sunday.
Well, and I feel like they should have learned their lesson years ago when they waited too long with Roman. Everyone was ready for it. They waited a little longer than they should have. And then the Royal Rumble it backfired so horribly that they're still dealing with the repercussions of that booking-wise. Based on last week that I did go back and watch and I listened, and you're right, it was not piped in. People wanted Roman. And last night again in Florida, they were all about Roman Reigns. I mean,
Florida loves their Roman because they were in Miami last week.
people are into Roman right now, and so the Brock thing's working. It's helping that he's getting the Seth Rollins rub. You know, Seth Rollins has given him good heat now, and that good guy cheer. This is time for him to win the belt. Does he win it clean? I don't know. Does he win it because Heyman helps him? Maybe. I don't know. I don't book.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the biggest question you didn't even address there. I think the biggest question is, does he leave as champ? Because I think there might be something with Braun Strowman, but I don't know.
I read I mean, you just never know. I mean,
I didn't read anything about this, but I feel like right now
they're definitely treading water with Braun Strowman, and that sounds wrong. Because not treading. I like what they're doing with Braun and KO and Jinder. I actually like it, but they're just waiting. You can tell that they're purposefully keeping him out of this whole mess. Because they don't want Braun and Brock. They can't do it.
Yeah, I just feel like the end of this story is the ending I think we mostly predicted at WrestleMania, but they wound up holding off. And I mean, the end of the story is Reigns holds the belt up, having finally conquered the Beast. The Beast goes off to UFC and to be seen at a later date.
I mean, it is the story they've been telling. I mean, they started it. They started it at the WrestleMania when Rollins wins. They continue it at WrestleMania. Then they do the greatest Royal Rumble, and that story
such a great Royal Rumble.
the stupid Royal Rumble, and that story moves forward. I mean, they never stopped telling this story, and so they finally have it. But the story needs to end. And I know that the WWE, I know the WWE hates predictable endings, but the predictable ending in this case is the right ending.
Yeah, and not only that, you finally are, I mean, by a mile, at no point in time over the past 3 years has Roman been more over. Not saying that he's over, but I'm saying in the past 3 years, he's not been more over. And
he can thank Brock Lesnar for that, because Brock Lesnar has turned heel magically.
Because he got all you guys watching mad at him. That's why Roman should be thanking Brock.
That's how it's supposed to work.
Exactly. And then the other point I had about this was, I bet you now they're even regretting, because Reigns has had short, forgettable runs as champion that I think they're kind of trying to bury because they want this one to be the one.
Well, remember the one where, I mean, we keep talking about him winning it and then losing immediately to Braun Strowman. That's not the first time that's happened to Reigns.
Well, yeah, because I remember him. I don't even remember that one. I was thinking of Sheamus.
Well, Sheamus was the one. Yeah, Sheamus came out in like 27 seconds and booted him in the face, and that was it.
Has he had another run that I can't think of?
Yeah, he won it after that. He won it back from Sheamus, I believe. And then, because he had it at one point.
Hold on, I want to make sure we're right on this. I want to Google how many times, because I don't want to. This is a major thing. Hey, look at that! What's up? There's your buddy. There's my buddy.
Hey,
it's your son and my buddy. He just made a quick appearance.
Evan's in here.
How many times has Roman Reigns won the WWE? Well, now how you even feel don't ask for a championship?
Got it.
All right, what do you got?
3 times WWE champion.
3. Holy
Three
cow!
times.
Okay, well, there was one.
I'm trying to get the specifics here, but I just have that answer.
I thought of one that I'm forgetting. The one that Ambrose won his first title from after Reigns got popped for drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Wasn't that
right?
Was that him or Rollins? That was him,
well,
I think.
Let's see. They're not giving me the exam. They're not giving me the times he won them. But they're telling me that he won it 3 times.
All right, hold on. I might be able to get this here too. Because yeah, I'm also getting that same answer. Please stand by, everybody, as we work on this here. Hold on. Championships and accomplishments. Okay. He won the tournament. That was the one that Sheamus quickly did. Let's see, World Heavyweight Championship 3 times.
Because remember, he lost it by losing the Royal Rumble. Remember, they made that whole Royal Rumble. If he doesn't win it, he loses the championship. And that's how Triple H won the championship and took it to WrestleMania that year.
Gotcha. All right. Well, let's not even, because now we're way too deep into this.
Son of a bitch. There's so much to look at. But I mean,
know.
he's had it 3 times, and we can only really remember 1 or 2 of them. I like that run, by the way. I actually enjoyed the run through the Royal Rumble.
Okay, but they've all been kind of short and forgettable. And for someone who's held the title 3 times, don't you think they'd mention that in this build to SummerSlam? Like, he's a former 3-time champion. But
I think they want it to look like when Daniel Bryan won the championship.
Exactly, because this is going to be Reigns' coming out party.
So if that's the case, ironically, pun intended, then they're not going to take it away from him right away with Braun Strowman in the case.
Exactly. And I didn't mean to show my hand before our predictions episode, which I think will be next week. But yeah, I think that a very popular prediction, whether it be from you or from people in the post show, will be a Braun Strowman cash in. And I totally get that. I totally get the logic. And I was thinking about that up until last week. But now I'm not so sure. I think this is going to be the moment for Roman. Now, here's the thing.
I read the weirdest thing online, and it's sticking in my head. And it's just like it's fantasy booking, so I don't even know if I want to bring it up here and muddle it down. But I read it, and I was like, something along these lines would make total sense. And it would be Braun Strowman cashing it in, but then not getting it.
It's totally possible. That's totally possible. Now, here's a few things about this. Number 1, Braun Strowman is super over as a babyface. So it seems like bad timing for a cash-in on Reigns at SummerSlam. And that's the first thing. And the second thing is, I really just think now, here's my other point. Let's say Braun cashed it in and won. This could, again, just further the Roman gets screwed thing. And you could just keep on growing it and now Braun's the guy to beat for Roman's coming out party. But I think they should just double down on this moment, give Roman the strap. Everyone's ready for it. He'll probably get a face reaction, although it is Brooklyn. And now's the time. And I think that this is what they've been waiting for the past 3 years. They wanted this 3 years ago. Right.
And they're going to get it now if they do it right. We're leaving out one option that is on the table, albeit far-fetched, I think.
Go ahead.
But Braun Strowman loses his match.
I thought about this
SummerSlam, too. And Kevin Owens gets it. And I love, by the way, how they're telling that story. Last week and this week, just illustrating that it takes a count out, or Braun loses his temper and he gets disqualified for hitting somebody with the briefcase. It just takes one little moment. You don't have to pin Braun Strowman to win that case from him, Kevin Owens. And Kevin Owens would be great with the case.
Well, absolutely. I'm not a fan of a traveling case, in that I feel like it's like King of the Ring, in that you have it, you don't defend it. It's yours. You are, it's like being a Hall of Famer almost, even though they've removed Hulk Hogan from it and put him back in. I feel like that's something you earn, and it's yours. It's there forever. You can't take someone out of a Hall of Fame, in my opinion. Right. Same with Money in the Bank. There are rules for it. You win it, and you can cash in anytime up to a year. It never says you have to defend it. You have to continue to be. That's a championship. That's what you fight to defend.
No, but I agree with all of those points. But if we're going to suspend disbelief for the sake of the story, I think that Braun Strowman losing it is actually a good story. I think Kevin Owens being the first challenger to Roman Reigns is pretty good.
It'd be like, okay, so Nakamura already won the Royal Rumble, already had his match at WrestleMania. And then Kevin Owens is like, guess what, Nakamura? I want to be the guy who won the Royal Rumble. I'm going to fight you, and whoever wins is going to be the winner of the Royal Rumble. And I'm talking about here in August 2018. Yeah. That just doesn't make sense to me. Braun Strowman won the Money in the Bank. He shouldn't have to fight to defend it.
Right, and he should be allowed, if he's got to fight to defend it, he should be allowed to cash it in today, anytime he wants.
Yeah, so exactly. So that I don't like the inconsistencies in that department. So we covered a lot already I'll get things started with just a Raw overview. I did not think it was a great show. I'm going to be honest with you. Do you want to agree, disagree, or have any thoughts before I continue?
I'll tell you what, pal. I thought that it was, there was a lot of wrestling. There was a lot of wrestling on it, and I like that. I thought the Roman Reigns Corbin match was good. I thought Mojo Rawley and Bobby Roode was slow and not good. I loved the continuing story and the wrestling match with Seth Rollins and Dolph and McIntyre. Like there was some good in-ring matches and little cool spots like the B team and all of a sudden the Deleter of Worlds standing there for the tags. Like there were good spots, but for the most part, I was bored almost the whole time.
So here, if I had to put my finger, I could do two things. On what the biggest problem of Raw is last night, or Raw was last night. My biggest problem was nothing felt important to me. Every match, like you mentioned, was fine. And I'll be honest, I didn't really watch close enough to criticize or praise any match.
There were no stakes in any of the matches I mentioned, by the way. None.
Yeah, just nothing felt important to me was my biggest problem. The Heyman thing was fine. The B team got new music and that made me happy. But for a 3-hour show, really not much happened. And it was a lot of not even wrestling, but filler wrestling.
I was more excited by the potential of Dean Ambrose showing up than anything else on the show. Because the Ronda Rousey thing was much ado about nothing.
Exactly. That and they even tried to make that feel important, and I don't know, it lost it for me. And one thing that also hurt that segment for me, and this was my second problem, like the third hour, they did big time back-to-back women's segments. And I hate to be I know we're in the women's revolution and all this stuff. I still would have paced those a little differently. Right.
I saw an article made me laugh so hard. It's like the onion of wrestling.
It's
the kayfabe one.
Kayfabe news.
Kayfabe news. I sent it to you. It's like
it's so
male wrestling fan in 2018 afraid to admit that he's still not into women's wrestling.
And like the default image they use is so good. And then I even opened the article and it's like a legit Onion article. It was very funny.
Well, the best part and the most indicative to me is you and I in Evansville on your couch at the same time on Monday night, and we're having a great time, and we're watching, and they make this wrestling announcement, and our eyes almost rolled out of our heads, and we're like, oh, the women's thing, oh, women's Royal Rumble, oh, women's pay-per-view, oh my God, this is gonna be blah. And then the next morning we wake up, Carmella comes in, and we're like, Women's Revolution! Woo! What a big moment for Raw! What a big moment for women, Carmella. Such a good announcement last night. That was great. 12 hours later, you and I were like, oh, gag me with a spoon.
Hold on. I remember after the interview, we were making fun of ourselves for doing that. But then there was like some sort of justification that made it, oh, here's what it was.
Yeah, she was in the room. That was the justification.
No, it was like, because we did a really quick post-to-post that day, because we had just interviewed Carmella once for Kiss, once for GBF, and then it was already kind of like, we put that on the post, we put the interview with Carmella up on the website, so we had already interviewed her a few times, and then, so to kind of address it honestly on our podcast, we said, we already shared our thoughts about the women's revolution announcement, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on that.
Which is kind of true. You and I did share our thoughts on the women's revolution, but we didn't do it in the interview with Carmella. We did it on your couch the night before watching Raw.
I heard a hot take on the Evolution pay-per-view or Revolution. Which is it? Evolution?
Evolution.
I heard that it may more closely resemble a women's WrestleMania than a women's pay-per-view.
Jeez Louise.
I don't know what that really means. But I think it might be really, they might try to make this bigger than.
Let them, because I'm afraid of, it's either this year or next year, but we're going to have a WrestleMania main event.
They keep saying it. They keep saying it. And it's going to be one of those things where I don't think the crowd is going to want to see it last, but they're going to put it last. I don't disagree, Jared.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. So let's move forward because I feel like we all probably feel the same way about this.
Did you like the Deleter of Worlds thing? I really loved how they just showed up and replaced each team's tag partner for the tag. Like I thought that was really clever.
Jared, you know, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on this. I remember B Team coming out having new music. Was that the payoff for that? I apologize. Help me.
Yeah, so the B Team and the Revolution and the Revival were having a fight, and at one point, Bo Dallas and then one of the Revival, I can't think of Dash Wilder, I think maybe I can't remember their names. He's going
Dash
for
Wilder and Scott Dawson.
So Dawson was in the ring, and so it was Dawson and Dallas, and they're going different directions, and they're about to make a tag to Wilder and Axel respectively, and then Bray Wyatt, Matt Hardy, Black, and then boop, and Axel and Wilder have been replaced by Hardy and Bray Wyatt, laid out.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Laid out on the mat, and they're standing there to get the tags, and then they come in and clean house. And I thought that was cool. That was clever.
Agreed.
I like that.
That's great. I agree with you totally there.
3 hours is too much, man. 3 hour Raws are brutal.
That's the thing. And then you've also, I'm trying to think of if there's much else worth talking about. I thought
do you want to know a good indication that Raw's a little long and can get boring at times?
Please.
Right around 10:05. Right after Seth Rollins, after that was over or whatever, and we're getting into like the Riot Squad showing up now. Evan, who's sitting on the couch watching wrestling with me, you know what he said?
Can I go?
Do you remember what you said, buddy? Can we turn on a baseball game? He'd rather watch the Pirates get shut out to the Colorado Rockies at 10:30 at night than watch the Riot Squad. And you know what? I turned it for a little while, and I went back and watched it when he fell asleep.
WWE, our season never ends.
Thank you, Savage.
So I've got the run sheet here open. We covered the Heyman stuff. We kind of covered Rousey. It was a little underwhelming, I feel like. Dolph Ziggler, Seth Rollins build stuck in neutral. That's kind of a fair way to describe it. It's not a bad build. It's just not really doing much.
Does this end with Dean Ambrose coming out at SummerSlam? I feel like this is where we're headed.
I don't know. Maybe. I just feel
I thought he was coming out last night.
I feel like you can't just keep that a normal match. You just can't. It's going to feel so dull after the 30-minute Iron Man match in Pittsburgh. And then, it's been built. It feels like this is a spot for another stipulation.
Well, and they haven't answered the question. What the hell is he going to do about McIntyre? Like they haven't answered that question.
Yeah,
because
I don't know.
Because he keeps losing. He keeps getting beaten down 2-on-1.
Hey,
and
did Ziggler have straight hair last night?
I don't remember.
I don't either.
Yeah, I think he did. It was like pulled back.
Yeah, I dig the straight hair on Ziggler. I think it makes him look much more intimidating, like a 97 Triple H.
They both look so good coming out together. Two totally different looks, two totally different styles. I love that they're not being presented as a tag team. They're just being presented as a team. And I like that a lot.
Oh, duh. Well, we only touched upon this, but what I actually named the video today, it was either going to be Paul Heyman breaks down and cries on Raw, or what I went with was Braun Strowman tips over the set of the Kevin Owens show. We talked about Strowman and Owens, but we didn't really talk about the tipping of the set.
Was he supposed to tip the set a little sooner? Because I feel like there was too many teases. Like everybody knew he was under there after like, what's happening?
I don't know. I don't know.
By the way, if I'm on a stage and it starts to tip just a little bit the first time, I'm getting off.
Yeah, that's the thing. And like Jinder and like Owens are like kind of like clenching to each other to hold each other and stay safe. When the safe thing to do is to jump the 3 feet off the stage.
Just get off the stage.
Just get off the stage. But again, that's wrestling, pal.
I think they're telling a fun story with that whole thing.
You know who else is doing okay for me? Not missing wildly, at least when I would think that they would be. But Lashley and Elias are doing all right.
I thought that was, I'm glad you brought that up. I thought that was really good. They kept Lashley's talking to a minimum. Elias is very good on the mic, and he's got the crowd where he wants them, and that's a believable fight. That's a good fight.
I was 100% sure that
Don't mind Evan just knocking shit over. Sorry. Stuff over. Darn it. Please stop pushing stuff.
Okay. He's a heel.
TD, pal.
I was saying I was 100% sure that Bobby Lashley was going to be part of Elias's crew, and he wasn't, so that was good.
Well, I was looking. I looked at the crew, and there was nobody nearly big enough. You couldn't hide him.
They kept it so dark, though, and they were referencing the crew so much, at least on camera. I just thought for sure someone was going to take off a suit or whatever, like a crewman suit, like Mick Foley or whatever, and here's Bobby Lashley. But yeah, no one seemed big enough. Again, stop me if there's anything you want to talk about. Bobby Roode over Mojo Rawley.
Mojo Rawley is improving, kind of. Like I don't know.
I mean, I would just say slowly but surely he's moving forward.
Is this Bobby Roode thing pulling him up, or is it pulling Roode down? I can't tell. All I know is everybody's getting a story, so it feels very Attitude Era-ish to me, not from the content as much as just the philosophy of everyone has a story.
Razar defeated Titus O'Neil.
They've got bigger things for those two. I just know it. I just don't know when they're going to get.
What's the bigger
pushing? When are they going to get to pushing Authors of Pain? When are they going to get to pushing them?
Oh, you make it seem like it's fate. And I'm not saying you're wrong, but I don't know that it's fate.
I feel like it's time to get to pushing those two.
They're totally worthy. Listen, I've only said complimentary things about Authors of Pain when they were in NXT. I know. And I don't know. I think they could wind up more like an Ascension at this point.
Oh, let's hope not.
Let's hope not. I agree. Jer, I'm so with you on this. I just got these are my realistic glasses and not my rose-colored ones.
Those are good. I just want to share it because I read it online. It was the dumbest thing ever. It's the dumbest fan theory, but if it happened, I'd be so pumped. It's that Roman Reigns ends up beating Brock Lesnar with the help of Paul Heyman. Braun Strowman comes out to cash it in, and then the Authors of Pain come out and beat the hell out of Braun Strowman, and then you've got the Authors of Pain and Roman Reigns led by Paul Heyman. I read that and I went, that would be cool.
Where do you read this?
It's the sci-fi. It's science fiction.
Legit, where are you reading this? I'm curious.
It was a Facebook page. It was a Facebook thing.
Like, here's the thing. It's fun to do that kind of stuff because we at home, we can make these elaborate storylines with the pieces that are available to us.
Quit pounding on the walls. I know. Just give me a minute.
And we're almost done because I
quit pounding on the walls.
Got to keep him under your thumb, Jer.
He's still pounding. Yeah, he's not under any thumb. Please stop pounding on the wall. We're in an air studio.
That's right.
Anyways.
I was saying
you're right. It's just ridiculous. I just needed to get it out of my head.
I mean, yeah, because we want to like reform NWOs and make these factions happen, but realistically, WWE doesn't book like that anymore. It's just not the way WWE works. Like that, yeah. Wouldn't that be cool if Authors of Pain came out and helped Roman Reigns, and then Paul Heyman helps? Like, yeah, that'd be awesome.
And then we call it the Empire of Pain. That'd be amazing.
Right? Yeah. And then yeah. So it's just never. That's why I can't get into the over elaborate stuff.
But it's like booking a video game. But also in the video game, I've got Bret Hart fighting for the title against Dusty Rhodes.
Cornish used to come up with a lot of like potential future storylines that always like he was good at keeping them somewhat plausible. I thought where a lot of times when you get them, you get what you just heard. I did like Cornish's crazy ideas sometimes.
Yeah, I like to think like that sometimes.
Yeah. But again, I don't think it's gonna. I think the most exciting thing you could see following a Reigns victory would be a cash in. I don't think Authors of Pain. I mean, again, so there's that. Riot Squad defeated. I didn't know there's a Boss and Hug Connection. That's the name of that team.
Great.
Or maybe that's just CBS making some commentary. But I have to be honest with you. At some point, I checked out of Bailey and Sasha's angle. I don't know when or why, but
it takes too long and it's convoluted.
Well, and they always put it in the same spot of the show, and nothing seems important because they went to therapy and then they're friends again. Like, do we just like, I mean, unless that's part of the story, it seems like they almost just it seemed like they pulled the plug on the therapy thing, and now we're just supposed to forget that it happened or whatever. I don't know. It's just not working for me.
Just why don't they have them feud and have them have matches and just get it over with? Or are they trying to drag it on to WrestleMania so we really don't care about it?
And that was a long segment that got several commercial breaks. And then that led into the main event, which was also a women's segment. Holy guacamole.
Holy guacamole. Couldn't you put the Riot Squad in earlier?
And it's
replace that. Even if you replace it with the B Team segment.
Yeah, just move it around, pal.
Just move it around.
But I do think it's great that the women will get a whole night of this. Like, I think that's really good. I love it. Evolution. Hashtag divas.
You'll be coming home from your honeymoon, and I'll come up with some reason why I can't watch it.
Yeah, I've got my excuse already. I'm going to be on an intercontinental plane trip. I think that technically where I'm going is still it's going to be a long ass plane trip. We'll put it that way.
Long.
Exactly. Long.
Not as long as like Raw, like a watching a Raw long.
And gosh dang it, I might just have to miss that women's pay-per-view because I'm in the air. And we can't possibly do a review if you haven't seen it. So, well, and I know after my honeymoon, I'll be out. I'll be out to the 31st. That's a Wednesday. I'll be back Wednesday. So it's going to be a weird schedule when I get married.
Rob gets married and won't come back until guys start wrestling again. That's all you need to know.
Everybody, if you know one thing about me, you know I love my Hanukkah. I'm a Hanukkah guy.
He's a Hanukkah guy.
Jared, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Unless there's anything else to mention, I'm playing the music.
Hit it. Just hit it, because I feel like there's stuff falling around me and things are still getting pounded upon. So get me out of here.
In the meantime, I'm the Rob. I am a Hanukkah guy. That's my tag team partner, Jerry Valeri. We will see you tomorrow. We'll recap SmackDown, which thankfully will only be 2 hours.
I'm a Christmas guy.
Oh, same, bro. Same. Oh.
I know you.